G'day, mates. Well, look, we knew things were bad. We knew things were pretty dire. Simon's selling up his gallery. He hasn't had a win in a while. I didn't think it was this bad. Simon, you're homeless. What's going on? Why are you in a car?
I'm in my mum's car. Broom, broom.
I'm in a car. I have nowhere else to go. Pod must come first. No point going to work to be able to afford groceries, to afford a place to live. I said, sorry, future employers. I've got to record the pod. So here I am, sitting in a driveway of a friend in my car.
If you'd like to donate to our GoFundMe page for Simon to see if he can try and find a house or some kind of suitable dwelling in which to live, you can go to www.soraredownunder/Simon is a homeless dickhead.com.
Yeah, look, it's hard, Alistair, because my friends, they're saying, look, Simon, you don't have a home, you're struggling to put food on the table. Why don't you sell some of your Sorare cards? Why don't you sell those cards, take the money, look, get yourself a place to stay, get yourself something to eat. And I said, but you got to understand, Kevin De Bruyne is back, my Man City stack, it's going to finally start reaping for me. Like, I'm really feeling like they're going to start building into something. You got to understand.
This is my fucking way. This is how I win.
I can't leave.
Yeah, and that $5 threshold, I mean, that's almost rent. It's almost rent.
Mate, that's 5 packets of Megarang. That's going to last me at least a week.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if there was ever a time for you to just go all in, drain the bank account, hit that unique threshy every week, now's the time. You might need it.
Yeah, it is. Should I explain why I'm actually in a car, Elster?
Yeah, you better.
Yeah. So, my housing situation, I don't know if it's like this anywhere else in the world, but for some reason in Australia, impossible to get a rental. There's every man and his dog, all applying for the same places, cannot get a house.
Well, how can I put it? You don't live here no more.
So, my lease has ended. I've been looking for about 3 months, spending too much time on Sorare, not enough time at, housing inspections, without a place. So here I am. I'll give you a little view, Ulster. All my belongings in the car. So the new home of the pod.
Wow. Okay. Coming to you live from Simon's 2004 Subaru Outback.
I'm thinking about making this my astrology sign, Subertarius.
I'm loving it. I love it. I think it's a good dynamic. Have you ever thought about just buying a house, Simon? Why don't you just buy one?
Well, if I'd sold in the boom of Sorare, I probably would have been able to. But instead, I spent it all on a Sebastian Gerisi rare. So,
house deposit, Gerisi.
Yeah, it is good to be back. I feel for anyone, I think, that had to listen to our previous episode. I would say that our first step back of 2024, I thought was great. We had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. There was nothing fun about last week. Technical issues everywhere. We seem to have fixed them now. And it was a fun experience, though, because for the first time, I actually got to listen back to the podcast, and I was hearing your voice and what you had to say for the first time, just like the listeners, because I couldn't hear a thing that whole 45-minute episode. It was all right.
Yeah. Not our best, but that's okay. We're back. We're better than ever. We're stronger. We're more powerful. We're ready to roll back in. I mean, just to kind of cap off an absolute disaster class of a podcast last week, we hit live. Here's our podcast. Not that much to talk about in the Sorare world. Next minute, Gerard Piqué's, playing chess with John Nellis on YouTube, and it's all kicking off. Everything's happening. Sorare's back. We're back, baby. Are you excited? Are you excited about Rivals? Are you ready for Rivals to save us all? How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. The sentiment is back up.
We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back.
I mean, I feel like it's a real roller coaster with Sorare. The ebbs and flows. It's pretty great to hear. PSU fans is psyched. He's buying limiteds. That brought a little smile to my face yesterday afternoon listening to the pod.
Did not have that on my bingo card for 2024. PSU fans buying limiteds to play Rivals. Wasn't expecting that one. That one came out of left field for me.
Yeah. But I mean, it's exciting. I think, remember the buzz when Rivals first came out? I still reckon that, had they brought this out, it would have been even bigger than what it is now. But look, I'm glad that it's here. It seems like they've thought it through, looking to play the long game. Like you said, John Nellis, great to see him again. Haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
He's still involved with where it seems. So that's nice.
Basically, I think the pattern of behaviour here is whenever John goes a bit quiet, the podcast starts to slow down. We don't really see so many videos coming out. He's not travelling up to Newcastle on a train, every other week for $1. Something big's brewing. So basically, it's like Nellis watch. It's like, is he busy? Is he out there? Can I see Nellis at any given time of a week? If not, something might happen. We're probably going to the moon. So I think, not financial advice, but if you start to notice that John Nellis is disappearing from your timeline a little bit, buy in big. Invest. Get all your money into Sorare because something huge is about to happen. He's about to have brunch with Nicholas and Elka.
Yeah, it's great to see, him and PK really keeping that strong relationship that they've built because, obviously best buds, they're rivaling each other. I couldn't think of two better people to launch us into the new year and into the new, gameplay of Sorare.
The new millennium.
Two best buds, Gerard and John.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
All right, Simon. Well, look, before we jump into Rivals, we will talk about Rivals, of course. 2024, have you entered a lineup yet? How is Sorare going for you so far this year?
Not great, Bob.
I haven't really had much of a start yet. I don't think I've really put out a proper lineup as yet for the year. How's your 2024 been going so far, Sorare-wise? Non-existent?
I'd say non-existent. To be fair, I think I've had a few injuries. My matchups haven't lined up. Like Liverpool have played a different time that City have played. Trent's injured. So look, not great to be honest. The Threshy's coming. The Threshy team's coming.
Okay.
It seems like a lifetime ago that we were talking about Threshies. Everyone's forgotten about that whole dilemma now. I must say, I feel like Sorare community is really good for that, of being absolutely focused in on something and then forgetting about it in a week's time, and everything's fine. It's all sunshine and rainbows.
Absolutely, yeah. Our thresholds are back, baby. They're never going away. So we're to the moon. Now,
once I find a permanent residence, I'll be dipping the toe back into the Threshy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. If ever there was a reason to contribute to Simon's GoFundMe page to help get this little boy a house, there's a reason. Once he's in between four walls, we will finally see this fabled threshold team that has been spoken about for so long.
Yeah. And I just want to quickly, Alistair, you got to remember, I don't have a house, but I still haven't sold my Sho Sasaki limited card. Even in the most dire of times, my commitment to Sho Sasaki will never waver.
I don't know where I went wrong. I can write a song. I belong, you belong in my sweet home.
And I'll never sell that card, even if I'm on the street. So that one's for you, Laird. Thank you very much. I still hold him very dear, very dear.
I love it. Now, Simon, if you, just to kind of, this is like a new segment, I suppose. We want to try and bring a little bit of the footballing world, a little bit of the footballing discussion to the pod. A few things that we've noticed through the week, a few things that have caught our eye, just so people, feel like they're on the pulse. Okay, so a couple of things I have to show you this week. The first one is so much fun. When you get that lovely notification from Sorare Data, Simon could take no more. Or is the coach just being cautious for next week? Your player's injured, basically. It's one of the worst notifications that you can possibly get.
No.
Well, I got that one over the weekend. And you always, your first thought is, how serious is this? You might hit up the Discord. Hey, any news on this guy? I saw he went off injured. Is he just tired? He's probably just tired, right?
Just a flesh wound.
Okay, so I'll share my screen and show you. So a quick Twitter search for I won this guy. but I want him. He's a super rare forward, and as you know, those are pretty rare. You want to hold on to as many super rare forwards as you can. I've already lost Nicholas Storm for like the next 4 months to a knee injury, so they're pretty scarce on the ground. So a quick Twitter search for my striker Javi Marton. Now, if you watch this video over and over again, there goes his ankle. Oh my goodness! Can you see that?
Oh yeah. It's not meant to go that way.
2 or 3 weeks?
Oh.
That's not a good. That's a bad ankle sprain for sure.
Was there a card for that?
I don't know. He got the. Oh, did he get ball? Do you get what card do you get for breaking someone's leg?
That is very grim.
So
very grim.
But every cloud has a silver lining. I saw as soon as I saw his leg snap, I was like, I'm gonna do a little thing here. Went to Pavel. I said, hey Pavel, do you want this up and coming, young striker from La Liga 2? And as a little bonus, I'll throw in a tier 5 reward that I won a couple of weeks ago, who is worth absolutely nothing. I managed to get a swap for a starting super rare forward.
It's free real estate.
Who plays in Bundesliga 2. So I'm pretty happy with that. So it worked out okay. He's gone, unfortunately.
What you could have done, Alistair, is do the classic when you're selling a player. Message someone in Discord, say, hey, mate, got this up-and-comer. He's got a slight injury, but, my sister's best friend's, old housemate. She knows the physio at the club, says it's not too serious. He's been training really hard. Mate, I'll give you to him at a little bit of a discount because I've got to move some other pieces, but trust me, you want to pick him up. It's like when you're selling a goalkeeper. It's like, oh, he's the best, mate. He'll never lose his job. Then why are you selling him? That's always a good strategy, I reckon. Yeah.
I don't even want to sell him, but I will to you because I value our relationship so highly. And I mean, broken legs aren't what they used to be. I mean, stem cell research. He'll be back in a fortnight.
Yeah, 6 months. That's not long in Sorare, right?
Exactly. Okay, so the next video I've got here. Now this is a bit of old news, but we kind of mentioned it to each other when it came out, and I thought it would be worth sharing with the So Rare Down Under crowd. Now this is, where are we? Oh man, I've got to get better at this.
Nothing like a breaking news segment of news that was 2 weeks old.
Okay, now here's our boy Hugo Lloris. One of the best purchases I've ever made. Picked up his super rare when he was the third string keeper at Tottenham. I knew there was a move on the cards. Wasn't expecting LAFC, I'll be honest. Now, this video had me a little worried, Simon. I'm sure he'll do well at LAFC, but I don't think that he actually wants to be there. I have a feeling. I mean, let's just watch the video.
Hello everyone, it's Hugo. I'm delighted to be an LFC player. I'm looking forward to play in front of the 3252. Come on, black and gold.
Okay. I was waiting for the newspaper with today's date to come out. Those eyes are the man. Those are the eyes of a man who is scared for his life. He's being held there against his will. Is this like some hostile? Has Will Ferrell kidnapped Hugo Lloris? What is going on?
Suck my cock! I'll murder your family!
I don't think I saw him blink once. He's just straight to the barrel of the camera.
It looks like he's never worn like one of those flat-brimmed hats before in his life. He looked very uncomfortable. And
you know what it reminded me of?
Yeah.
It was like when you put socks on a cat or like clothing on a dog.
I am looking forward to LAFC. Oh man, that really tickled me. So look, I hope he performs well under the sticks. Otherwise, he's we might have another. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Okay, now this one's not so much a funny one, but I thought one that has created a bit of stir on the old Twitter football community, and I thought I'd get your thoughts on it. I don't know if you've seen this. Okay, sharing that bad boy. Alrighty. All right, this is Dana White, head of the UFC.
I think that it's the least talented sport on earth. There's a reason 3-year-olds can play soccer, okay? You run around and kick a ball. Yeah, Landsberg said, you wouldn't say that if you were Brazil. I said, dude, I say this in every country. When you're playing a game where the net is this big, right, and the score is 3-1, are you shitting me right now?
That's a blowout.
Do you know how, you know how untalented you have to be to score 3 points when the net is this big? Now, in hockey, you have guys on skates, right, with crooked sticks, where they have to hit a puck into a net that's the same size as the goalie. Okay, that's a sport that the score should be 3-1.
What are your thoughts, Simon?
Well,
is he right?
I would not gonna lie, Alistair. When he puts it like that, he's probably not wrong. The net is pretty big.
It is pretty big. You're right. Yeah. Just kick it in. Just kick it in there.
Just kick it in. Look, yeah, for a guy that runs a sport where people get their heads bashed in, probably seeing players like, fall around the floor from a little brush, probably not a great look. I can sort of see where he's coming from. Look, Alistair, I've only ever played futsal where the nets are quite small, but I'm just so incredible that I score anyway. But you have played on proper fields. Does he have a point?
Well, I mean, he goes on about the crooked stick in hockey. Oh, you have to hold a crooked stick. A leg is a crooked stick of a kind, and it's controlled by your brain.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
So, I mean, that's pretty difficult. I don't know. I think I'd love to see Dana White play a game of football and see how he goes. I mean, because we've started playing football in the last couple of years, and we are not natural footballers. We haven't been playing since we were kids, so it's not second nature to us at all. And I think we can testify to just how difficult it is to put the ball in the net when you've got 11 people like swarming you. Yeah, I mean, hockey's difficult. I'm not going to argue with them there. Hockey looks fucking hard. But yeah, I mean, it's a very American point of view. I think it's very much like, it's like, have you seen that picture where it's like the top 5 greatest athletes of all time, and it's just all Americans? It's just like Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, and of course everyone's like, what are you talking about? But I don't know. It's an interesting debate. I would love to see what the kind of viewers think. Is he right? Is football easy? Are we just idiots? Are we just, why aren't we out there making millions and millions of dollars, Simon? Are we just completely retarded?
But, mate, look, I've watched too many MLS games. If Dana's rocking up to an LAFC game, look, he's probably going, what the hell is this? Like, come talk to me, Dana, when you've gone to Anfield, you're seeing Trent nutmeg people, they've got the ball on a string. Americans, I think, should just stay out of the soccer conversation. No offense to all of our American friends who have great insights into the footballing world, but it's a tricky one.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can pull up plenty of clips of Darwin Núñez missing the giant goal, which probably don't help the footballing perspective. But yeah, I mean, if you're Dana White and you're like, let's watch a bit of soccer and see what this is all about, and you switch it on and it's Griffin Dorsey running down the wing. Yeah, you might not be as impressed as if you're watching a Premier League game live in the flesh. So I don't know. It's a debate. I think you might have a point. I also wouldn't say necessarily. I mean, UFC has, obviously, like, I don't want to be doing UFC anytime soon. That looks terrible. But it's also just kicking and punching.
Is it? Anyway, I don't know if it is, but...
Pow, pow. Pow, pow. Yo.
Now, we reignited a flame during the week. It's been a little while.
An old flame.
I'm still getting over my, 12 eggs, my sloppy steak. So we thought, look, let's get back to the lunch wheel. Lunch wheel!
Yeah, baby.
We put out to the community. They provide us with teams. They provide us with matchups. Off we went. Do you want to tell us how it went, Alistair?
Yeah, well, do you really want me to recount it? I mean, so we changed the format slightly. Best of three.
No, you changed it. You changed it. Just saying.
Okay. I changed it to make it a little bit more fair. I thought, look, you can't just rely on one game. Anything could happen. There's too much dumb luck that goes into that.
That's the point.
Well, yeah,
Rivals.
that's true. Okay, well, my thought process was, look, best of three, let's make it a little bit more skill-based. And we did that, and you failed spectacularly. So what are we saying, Simon? Do you want to go back to dumb luck? Is that your strategy? Is dumb luck your strategy? Does this say everything that you've ever needed to say about your Sorare strategy to date?
I'm not going to say anything without my lawyer, but I will say this. For those that don't know, was it 3-0? Was it a whitewash, Alistair?
I don't actually. I didn't check the Senegal results.
No.
I would have to look on that. I just after the Atlas game, I was like, "Yep, we got it in the bag. Rivals is done. Let's spin that lunch wheel."
I lost the first two games. To be fair, the first game, I didn't know a single player. I didn't know who was starting, and I didn't have a chance to check the lineups before the game started. Second game, Atlas, I had a quick look while at work. That one was pretty close though. But the first game, I had 2 DMPs in a game in a format where you shouldn't have DMPs.
Yeah, well, I mean, you gotta have commitment to the game, mate. You gotta be setting that alarm, checking those lineups. All it takes is a couple of minutes. You wake up, roll over, check the lineups. Oh yeah, we're all good. Back to bed. You're all good to go. Commitment to the game, Simon.
Now, I've got something to say about this. Now, what are your thoughts? Because on the Sorare Data Show, they were saying how often the cap is quite easy to fit under in Rivals. Have you noticed that in some games, especially of I think maybe worse teams, I can't remember, but it's really hard to fit players under the cap. You have to put the opposition goalie up against your players just to field a team. Have you found that, or is that just me? Am I just bad at Rivals, maybe? I don't know.
Some games are definitely harder than others. I'd love to know how they select the kind of cap. Sometimes it's really high and you've got no problem fitting all the players in. Sometimes it's just ridiculously low. I do think it just takes a little bit of extra thought. I think you just got to strategize it. And I think as Rivals progresses, we will see people really putting the time and effort in to coming up with the best strategies to win and kind of understanding which matchups to go into, which players to pick, that kind of thing. For example, so I mean, I did a little bit of research because I want that lunch wheel, baby. My process was kind of I went and looked at the team pages, saw who kind of was leading the stats in terms of who took all the set pieces. I love a main man. Who was the kind of leader in Jules 1, all those kind of metrics that you can pick as your tactics. And also who plays all the time, who's just never misses a game, especially for that game. I think it was Metz versus Toulouse. I was like, as much as I was, ribbing on you before, I'm not waking up at 2 a.m. to check the lineups for Metz versus Toulouse. So I was like, right, well, let me just pick 5 guys who, unless something crazy happens, they're going to be starting. And I think I got the 5 starters in the end. So I think there's heaps of things you can do. I mean, I don't think we're the guys to tell people what to do for strategy, but I think even though it's only been running for a week, already we're seeing people really dedicating themselves to cracking the code of how to smash Rivals every time.
Yeah, I'm actually quite a big fan of when it is low, though. I think that's such a cool element to Rivals of if it's low, you've actually got to get creative and be quite strategical of how you fit the lineup, because to be honest, it's a bit boring if it's a buy-in game and you just roll out all the smashes and it's fine. I kind of like there might be a game where, okay, if you want to fit in some players that you own cards of to get the bonus, you might have to have someone come off the bench or someone who's a little bit more hit and miss. I kind of like that. But anyway, Alistair, so you won. Well done. Great to be back. Are we spinning the wheel?
Just what you need. Wheel? Just what you need is you live in your car. Pay for my lunch.
Yeah. So
okay.
Let's for me tonight, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Look, let's spin this bitch. All right, are you ready? Okay, can you see the lunch wheel?
I can.
Oh my, there's some weird shit on here. Okay, are we ready? Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to feel. Oh, God! Yes!
You're kidding.
Chicken and chips, baby! Oh, delicious. Delicious. Nutritious, delicious.
Pretty close to a dozen eggs.
I was very close to a dozen eggs and a jar of mayonnaise. But hey, look, this ain't my first rodeo. I know exactly how to hit that mouse in such a way to get the perfect result. Chicken and chips, I'm stoked with that. Happy days.
We running it back? We're gonna go again?
Yep, we'll do the same as last week. I think that worked well. I mean, well, okay, Simon, you as the loser, do you want to go back to one game takes all, or do you like the best of three format?
Let's do best of three, but I'm not here to fuck spiders this time. I'm gonna be bloody. As soon as those nominations come in, I'm gonna be researching my tits off to make sure that I've got the best lineup possible.
Yep.
And I'm coming back because I need to get something good on the lunch wheel. You got to remember, I've only gotten bad stuff. I got like a giant block of chocolate, which like you think is good, but for lunch it's not great. And then eggs and a steak. So,
well, steak. I mean, a sloppy steak. Some would say that's better than a normal steak.
You on the bed, make up my mouth go. You face in the mirror. It's a dangerous night.
Well, yeah, depends if you're a piece of shit or not. Okay, all right. So, pop it back onto the Twitter.
Yep. We'll put that out when this episode goes out. We'll get some nominations. I think Blue Tomatoes was a little bit eager last week. He already submitted some nominations for this week, so we can chuck one of those in. He's got it, can't fault someone for getting in early. But yeah, keen. I'm so glad the lunch wheel's back. Everyone's talking about Rivals. It never left for us, baby. The stakes were already there for us. Rivals already meant the world. So now everyone else knows how we feel.
I'm just saying, I'm getting some weird looks from people walking past of just me sitting in my car staring at my dash with the car not on.
Yeah, I mean, just another insane homeless man living in his car. All his belongings piled behind him, talking to himself.
Who's been stealing your thoughts? And I put everything. Did you ever?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, dear.
All right,
donate
should we
today.
chat Rivals? Should we join the crowd and chat Rivals?
Let's chat Rivals. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. We were pipped at the post. Nicholas, I think, has a conspiracy against us. First, he doesn't onboard the A-League, even though everyone wants it.
Can somebody please tell me when is A-League?
Second, he always loves to drop a big announcement just after our episode goes live, rendering everything we've spoken about for the week completely out of date and redundant. But we're late to the party, but goddamn, are we going to talk about it? Let's talk about Rivals. How do you feel about it, Simon? We've got rewards now. Arena tickets are scarce. People are offering up their firstborn son for arena tickets. We've got superstars playing. How do you feel? What are your thoughts as a layman?
I feel good. I must say, I'm a massive fan of the reward boxes.
Yep, it's fun. It's fun. It's got people hooked 100%.
Crack. Peter, what are you doing? Crack. What the fuck? Crack.
I think it's got that element of, even if you get something that's shit or something that's no good, like, there's not that expectation. Obviously, with the pay-to-play version of the game, if you get a poor reward, you're quite disappointed because you've put the money in, you're expecting that return. But with this free-to-play stuff, like, okay, it's coins. Yeah, it's Rivals. Like, it's not like, I just think the fact that we're in with a chance to get something good, something okay, and then something pretty mediocre, like, that's the perfect balance. And for me, on a Rivals level, I reckon giving out real rewards, such as jerseys, is fantastic. I think that's such a great way to get people hooked, because even if you're not interested in getting a limited card, okay, you win a jersey and you go, holy shit, this platform's pretty cool, and the flow-on effect goes from there.
It's interesting, isn't it? The psychology, like, you know, not to mention just the jackpot element of it. Like, people play the pokies because they're like, I know I'm probably not going to win, but I might win, you know? And I think, isn't it interesting, like, if you have a good week in Sorare, you know what reward you're going to get. You can only really be disappointed. It's very rare that you're like, okay, I've won a tier 5. You know, I mean, you obviously picked up that Mario Hermoso as a tier 5. That was a nice surprise, but that usually doesn't happen. Usually it's like, oh, I've everything came together and I've won a tier 1. Let's open it. Oh, it's shit, or it's not the player I wanted, or, you know, it's always a letdown. Whereas with this, because it's like,
yeah,
you know, it's essentially a free to play game, but you do have that chance of being surprised in a nice way, unless you get arena tickets, of course. But that said, people need arena tickets, so I think they've done it very well, the way that they've structured it, the fact that you have this random chance. And I think at the end of the day, we got to remember that people do like winning cards. And I'm out there trying to get my streaks up so I can have a chance at winning a limited card, which means nothing to my gallery, but I do love winning card rewards. It's just that now I have a chance of winning a card reward that might be a nice surprise as opposed to one that's probably just going to let me down.
Exactly. It's a win-win, I think. There's, like I said, there's not that expectation. And you touched on the arena tickets. I think, what are your thoughts on making them quite scarce? And, you know, obviously you can claim your 1 per day or by referring someone. But what?
No, I'm laughing at just the way they've, you know, when we were playing the beta version, I think all of us had like 100 arena tickets and just no value on them whatsoever. And now people are like, you know, waiting for their arena ticket to drop, you know. Can I buy some arena tickets? Like, how many coins do I need to spend to buy arena tickets? Like, it's quite funny to see how just addictive these bloody little pink tickets have become.
Do you think that, you know, all the bots are just going to get heaps of arena tickets and create like a black market selling them on the side?
Well, no. I mean, unless they create, you know, people have raised the issue of multi-accounting, people just creating multiple accounts to farm rivals. I mean, I don't think that's the payoff of doing that is not that great, unless, of course, you can start selling arena tickets, in which case that will really push the multi-accounting, because people will just create hundreds and hundreds of accounts to farm tickets to then sell. So I don't think selling tickets user to user will come in for that reason.
No.
I mean, if you're going and setting up like multiple accounts to play rivals, you're a fucking loser. So, you know.
Ooh, burn!
It's not that good of a game that it's worth doing that. I have hit my 1 game streak and my 3 game streak. I won arena tickets both times. I must say that was a little bit disappointing, but obviously it, you know, allows me to keep playing the game. The biggest thing for me, Simon, I don't know if you've been playing it much, but oh my god, the sweat when you're going for that 3rd arena win in a row. Whew, like, it's stressful. It's really stressful. I think I went. What was the game? Was it Atlas? No, it wasn't Atlas. Oh, it was the Club America game where all the Club America players were out. They got an extra holiday, so they basically played like their under 23s team, and that was my like arena match for my 3rd win. And I think I managed to just scrape over the line like with an assist in the last minute or something like that. Man, it was exciting. So I wasn't expected to be this excited or this kind of like, you know, have this kind of sweat over rivals. I don't know. Have you played it yet? Have you had any experience with the actual like experience of it?
Not yet, but I think that we've always said the lunch wheel was the best thing we did for rivals because it gave our rivals a meaning. Like, I think, you know, people always say they couldn't really, apart from arena, like playing friends, couldn't really give a shit. I remember we were watching the LAFC versus Houston game, and we both had very, very similar lineups. It was coming down to like there was 1 or 2 points between us, and the sweat was like, if he can get one more effective clearance, like, you know, that's going to win me. That, like, watching it and having that, you know, Sorare element to it, I think that like the 3 game streak and having that sweat it gives Rivals that purpose and the meaning that it probably was lacking, and it gives people a reason to play.
Absolutely. Okay, so a couple of questions here, I think. Do you think this is good or bad for Sorare, the traditional Sorare? Do you think this is going to help or hinder kind of Sorare as we knew it?
I think help. I do think it'll help get people playing Sorare. Whether they go across to the Pro version, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, when people are buying rare cards to boost their Rivals lineups, how much does that actually move the line? Like, does it actually, like, if a few limited cards are getting bought here and there, does that really help the super rare market? Probably not.
Yeah, I think it's, if it stays the way it currently is, then no. Like, if people aren't going to go and buy rares and super rares in order to win, a chance at a tier 3 limited, or maybe they might do it for a jersey, but that's such a low probability that's probably not going to happen. So I think it's a plus in that it will get a lot more people playing Sorare. It'll be very interesting to see how Sorare plays, like that, whether they push that transition. Like, does Sorare ultimately want people playing Sorare Pro, or are they happy to just really push Rivals and try and make all their revenue through that and just kind of let us, old purists play Sorare Pro? It'll be very interesting to see how they do it. I think it'll come down mostly to the rewards that they give. It'll come down to how well they kind of like promote that transition. Obviously, at the moment you play and they go, hey, do you want to buy, a pro card to improve your chances? And you can buy it instantly. Just a quick side note, by the way, I did this for the first time over the weekend. I bought a Pedro Porro for my Tottenham collection, and also to make sure that I won my Rivals game. The Pedro Porro that was available that they offered me was $88. And I was like, okay. I'll just check the secondary market, see if there's one there. Same season, same card, was $44 on the secondary market. So I love that Sorare just absolutely price gouging the market by just being like, do you want it now? Hey, here you go. And I'm sure there's people that are just drastically overpaying. Whether that's a problem or not, whether that person's going to go back and be like, oh my God, I paid double what it's worth. Maybe they don't care. Maybe the average Rivals user doesn't care. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that particular thing?
I think that's probably a pretty big issue, I'd say. Like, I think if you look at, if you are trying to get people to go into the pro sector, like as a new user that might not be used to the secondary markets, red data, all those elements, you buy a card and then find out that someone's selling it for half the price. It's not a great start to your pro career, is it?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of can't blame Sorare for just being like, hey, buy it from us. You want it now? It's going to cost a little bit more, but you can get it now. They could very easily being like, hey, check the secondary market. There's cards available there. And that would obviously improve secondary market activity, but that doesn't really help Sorare as much as them just buying it. So you can't blame them. And also, like, if you're just a new user who's just coming in to play Rivals, if you're not yet playing Pro, it probably doesn't really matter because you just want to win that Rivals game. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I think it probably doesn't need to be quite that drastic, the jump in price, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I think it's just going to be interesting how this actually affects Sorare. I'm assuming they've done their research on how it transitions across, but I think for the everyday user, like, it's fun. It's fun, play with mates. I think it has a bit more purpose now, which is what we're all chasing.
Yeah. So here's my thoughts on how they should do it. Like, how I think this can benefit not just Sorare, but, the existing users. Everyone's been crying out about, the fact that super rare, unique prices are going down. We want to stop that. I think ultimately Sorare, surely they must realize that, if if they can get rare and super rare prices, not necessarily back to where they were, but if they can get them healthy, that's got to be good for them. As much as they want to just have, as big a audience as possible. So I think they've made a great start by having the reward boxes that, like we said, that element of chance has got people hooked. Like PSU fans is buying limited cards. I'm sweating some random game that I don't even have any pro cards in because that's going to be my third streak win in a row. God knows how I'm going to get to 5. Like that's difficult. I believe that they need to break it up into divisions or scarcities. I think at the moment, if you play a lineup and you've got one limited card, you could potentially go up against PSU fans who's got 3 supers and 2 uniques. So while I don't necessarily think that's unfair or that shouldn't be the case, it would be amazing if they were to have divisions that you can progress into in Rivals, where you can have rare loot boxes, super rare loot boxes, unique loot boxes, and they don't necessarily have to have you don't want to be giving away crazy prizes there, but tier 5 super rares or a shit ton of coins or mystery jerseys. Like if the prizes are better in those divisions, as you go up, again, that will encourage people to actually go and spend money to purchase rares and super rares for the purpose of paying Rivals. I see no reason why Rivals can't be a thing that's played with high stakes. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think at the moment, it probably only benefits the limited market. I don't know if I can see many people going out and buying a rare just to boost a Rivals team. Yeah.
I think the other thing that they could potentially do, which would help get people, obviously, if they start advertising the fact that, hey, it looks like you've got 5 pro cards now. Did you know that if you can, you can enter this limited threshold team and win cash every week? Like, they need to actively progress people along. And then, of course, you can also try and tie it in with now that you've got X amount of limited cards, you can play these tournaments to win more limited cards, which you can then use in Rivals. I think another key element would be if they introduce buying arena tickets for coins, because again, I don't think they'll ever do arena tickets for cash because again, it just creates an incentive for people to multi-account. But we're always talking about coins. They're so useless. What are we using them for? If you could use them to buy arena tickets, within, I don't know, would they have a limit on it? I'm not sure. People will spend their coins on buying them. And what's the best way to earn coins? Going and playing pro competitions. So it becomes this cyclical kind of economy where it's I want to play Rivals. I love Rivals. I love the fact that I can hit these jackpots if I hit these streaks. The best way for me to hit streaks is to buy pro cards and buy arena tickets. And the best way to get arena tickets is to have coins. And the only way to get coins is to play pro. You see what I mean with that progression?
Who would have thought coins is
it's going to save us,
guiding
baby.
us to the promised land. When in 2045, Alistair, we're driving around our Lambos, and the people on Wall Street are going, "God damn it, those Sorare people! If only we could have got back in 2024." And they go, "God damn, how'd those bastards do it?"
God, I've got so many Lambos. Too many Lambos, really. I haven't got enough space for all these Lambos. Oh man, I can't wait.
When we write our autobiography, just say, So Coins changed our lives. So Coins was the bridge between the Rivals and the pro. And yeah,
you'll never believe Simon actually Simon didn't actually like Sorare coins. He would mock So Coins everywhere, every chance he got. How wrong he was. People will look back and laugh. Alistair, see, he saw the light. Yeah, he saw the true a feature film. All right, quick segue. Who's playing you in the Sorare Down Under So Coins? It's going to be a trilogy. It's going to be a saga. Can't just have one film. Too much money to be made. Who's playing you in the Sorare Down Under So Coins saga?
Well, a lot of people say they call me Matthew McConaughey, so that would be an honour.
Okay, nice and modest. I like it.
I'm good looking.
And everything is all right.
I reckon for you, Elster, you'd probably be played by Danny DeVito.
We gotta definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids.
Yeah, Danny DeVito, Ellen DeGeneres. Who else?
Ellen DeGeneres.
Arnold Schwarzenegger probably could pull it off. Yeah,
Chris Rock.
You got to have range. Yeah, Chris Rock could. Yeah. A lot of people say I look like Chris Rock, actually, which is funny. Slappable face. Okay, well, I can't wait to tune in for the 7-part mega saga featuring Matthew McConaughey, Danny DeVito, Chris Rock, and Ellen DeGeneres. They all play me at different stages in my life, obviously. You know, Danny DeVito is me as a child. Ellen DeGeneres is kind of like me now. And then, you know, once the kind of SoCoin phenomenon takes off and I've got 19 Lambos, that's when Chris Rock, you know, assumes the role.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
What's that movie that's about Facebook? It's I was gonna say IT Crowd, but it's not it. I don't know if that's it, but should we make a film, Alistair?
Shrek 4?
We should make a film.
I'm down if you are. We'll see if Sorare can produce it. You know, they'll front the money and we'll make it. Okay, we got a little bit.
Provide a nice little soundtrack.
We got a little bit, you know, off track there. Let's get it back on track. Okay, so back to Rivals. Okay, so we're talking about how it can help Sorare. You know, we don't want this to just be a thing that's like a flash in the pan, that or something where I don't want it to be a thing where it just becomes like FPL, where people play it for free and there's no real incentive to, you know, to keep playing. They've got to make another way I think that they can probably I don't know, it's tough. Going back to the whole Pedro Porro being double the price, I don't mind that. If Sorare can really like milk this and make a lot of extra revenue from Rivals, you know, people degenning in and buying pro cards for a lineup, you know, at 3 a.m, you know, some AFCON fixture, and they're paying triple the price for some limited card. I don't mind that as long as it really takes off and they can funnel that revenue into, you know, other divisions. I've always said, I've always seen those higher scarcity divisions, rare, super rare, uniques, being the place where the high rollers come and the big rewards are there, and it should be aspirational. You should be like, one day I'd love to play super rare and have a chance at winning, you know, $10,000 cash every week. And if Sorare, you know, this is big picture thinking, but if Rivals really takes off, it becomes this big thing that I think it has the potential to be. I don't see any reason why those people who are holding super rares, maybe rares in the future, but super rares, uniques, those higher scarcities, that the revenue shouldn't be there to make those just really, really worth playing. And especially if you combine that with like different divisions of Rivals, you know, I think that's our kind of ticket to the values that we once saw, you know, not too long ago.
Yeah, I think they've catered for the free-to-play. They've catered for the small users now with this Rivals. I agree. I think now, if they can look after this baby, they've got to turn their attention to the big users, the high rollers. Like that's the sort of future. That's what's going to kickstart it again.
Yeah, and we're back on the whale train again. I don't think they need to do it straight away. I'm not saying like, right, I want super rare Rivals tomorrow. Like, this is a great start. I just hope that Sorare have a really clear map towards something like that, where ultimately the life cycle of a user is someone's talking about Rivals at the pub. Oh, you can play it. Like, the Chelsea game's about to start. Sign up. Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you buy limited cards and you have a better chance of winning, you know, if you enter the arena, you know, you can win this, this, and this. If those rewards keep improving and those loot boxes become more desirable, I think that's going to get more people hooked, and it's going to get people going for that 10 streak, that 12 streak. You know, people are going to, like I said at the start of the show, like, people will put lots of effort into this if the rewards are worth it, and people will really like master the art of Rivals. As long as those users are then given the pathway of like, okay, well, wouldn't you like to play for $50 every week? if you buy some rare cards, you can do that. Wouldn't you like to compete to win more rare cards that you can then play in the rare Rivals division? It looks like you've got 50 rare cards. Maybe it's time for you to go up to super rare. In super rare you can win X, Y, and Z. And it just kind of keeps giving people that incentive to keep moving forward. I don't think the current kickoff mode is really incentivizing people enough to move on and progress. But yeah, as long as they've got that in the back of their head, I think this could be a turning point for sure.
Yeah, and nothing says that they don't. I mean, we know with Sorare that they're constantly making changes. Like, they very well could be rolling this out with the intention in 2 months' time to increase to announce divisions, or pivot in some other direction.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited. I mean, once you've got a house to live in, I think it'll be interesting to see what your experience is of playing Rivals. I'm kind of back at square one. I'm going for the 5 streak now, and I'm kind of your first arena win. You just kind of you're just throwing caution to the wind. But once I start getting up into once all the competitions are back as well, that'll make a big difference because I can be a bit more selective with which Rivals arena matchups I'm taking on. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hooked. All right. I think we've pretty much
I think it's
solved.
perfect. I was thinking on the drive home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We can.
No,
okay,
you're right.
No,
Thinking on the drive home. No, that's a great start to a sentence.
I was thinking on the drive home, always dangerous. To be honest, the thing that got me most excited is I feel like this is the perfect announcement, perfect timing for where I'm at in Sorare for me. I feel like, if I'm in a situation where I can't dive deep into the pro, that the rares or the super rares, the fact that I've now got a new way to play where I feel like I can be in it to win it. I've got a chance of hitting the jackpot. I'm competing. I'm also integrating pro cards into that. I'm potentially buying more pro cards to aid that. Obviously, like we said, you don't want to just focus on the small little fishes in the tank, but I do think that it has catered for me really well, and I'm not feeling as lost out at sea where I'm just competing against all the big boys, and I don't stand a chance in hell. So I'm feeling really positive.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, yeah, it just gives everyone another avenue to win, and that's only a good thing. People like winning, and I think the Sorare sentiment started to kind of go down as it got harder for people to win. That was kind of, again, prices went down, better cards became more affordable, more people had better cards, harder to win. People start to lose interest, and they do win and they get a shit reward. Like I said, it's only disappointment. Whereas these loot boxes really do give people, it's novelty. It's something exciting. People need novelty.
And they're going off the FIFA model in a way, aren't they? With the packs.
Yeah.
I got really hooked on FIFA because when you got a pack, yes, it might just be an 83 plus pack, but it has the potential. It has the potential to get that Mbappe, which was a really spent hours grinding, just to make sure you could get a good pack because you got a chance. You got a chance.
Yeah, and I mean, just another element to this that I guess I haven't really thought about until right now. People always talk about so rare content. It's all so much the same. Everyone's just kind of talking about the same things. And people have always said it's not a game that you can stream. You're not going to stream yourself watching an entire slate of weekend games. It's not a streamable thing. But now with Rivals, you can be like, what's up, guys? Nepenthe's here. And you can be streaming. You're like, I'm going for my 5th streak win of the week. I'm going for that loot box. You can actually stream the game. It's exciting. It's like, I need my guy to get a clearance off the line or whatever it is. And then if you do win, then all of a sudden you can open this loot box. And if they create loot boxes that are legitimately exciting, maybe they could hype up a little bit more. If you win a player, something could happen. They could even have loot boxes where you win multiple rewards, that element of when you hit a jackpot and you're kind of just waiting for the coins to stop piling up, like that. They could have that kind of thing where it's like one reward, 2 rewards, 3 rewards. Oh shit, like they can make it. There's room for it to be even more exciting than it is at the moment.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for Sorare streaming, because think about how passionate and angry people get on Twitter. If we get people starting to stream and they have these rants, like I love, you're watching a FIFA stream and he packs someone's shit and he picks his chair up and he throws it through his TV. Like I want to see people, enraged. I want to see people like freaking out. You know what I'm going to do, Alistair? After we finish ending this podcast, I'm going to send you a video of me playing FIFA about 4 years ago, where I turned into a little girl because I packed Mohamed Salah at like 3 o'clock in the morning and I had to try and keep quiet. I want this to be the new Sorare. That is, opens up a whole new can of worms.
I can't wait for it to be like, like in FIFA, it's, French, Paris Saint-Germain. Oh my God, it's Mbappe. Whereas in Sorare, it'll be like Bundesliga 2. Karlsruhe. Oh my God, it's Marvin Wanetsek. Ah! Cannot wait for the Sorare level of excitement for players that no one has heard of.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, your parking meter's up. You're about to get kicked off. You're about to get kicked out of your home.
Yeah, look, phone's about to die. Better wrap it up. Just shy of the hour.
Yep.
Great to be back on the pod. It's been nice not having any connection issues this time round. Great to see your face and you see mine. But yeah, another great week of Sorare. It's all happening,
All right. Well, we'll get back into the Rivals over the weekend. Hopefully, you can find a house and a stable internet connection, and you can finally dip your toes in, try and get that first streak win. See if you can get some loot boxes for the boys. And yeah, we'll catch you next week.
Sounds good. All right.
See you, mates.